And
Okay.
so some of the things that people bring up, like I was saying, like the wording now before before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world. And so you hear before the Passover. And then 13:2 it says, and supper being ended. Now this is where I think I had notes where, yeah, where Christian Gadfly could opine with his lovely Greek knowledge, not in the Zut sense, but in Greek grammar. Uh,
Bring that back up.
So I think, and it's hard for me to read with my stupid contact lenses, so I'm going to be like an old man and hold it 10 miles away. It's hard in the Greek. Dep, Depnu ginomenu.
What verse are you talking about?
For This is John 13 2, I think. Listen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John
So
13 2.
during supper.
Yeah,
Okay. I see
so
that.
during supper was now in progress. Uh but some translate it as supper having ended. And
Mm,
so you've got what translation do you have pulled up, Chris? Do you have during
the
okay,
LSB.
good, during supper. I think that's actually what the Greek supports, but Christian Gadfly knows Greek better than I do. But the Depnu Ginu menu,
Yeah.
I feel like that's supper
So
in progress.
that would be the word up for
So
debate.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's a participle. Uh, then uh, the lemma of it is like it's like where we get our word generating. So like existing being,
Okay.
and so to me it looks like it says in the supper existing being have coming into being
Mm,
Okay.
the devil already the blikotos would
Diablo.
cast
Sorry.
into the cardion, the heart. But yeah, anyway, in order to betray.
And so we also have
Jesus.
with
Yeah.
it being where Jesus is talking about handing the bread, giving the bread to the person, uh, which we all know is a thing to do during
Passover.
the Passover dinner. And so I guess
Right.
Chris, you would be saying that Jesus was having a pseudo Passover in
Right.
anticipation that he would not be able to celebrate the Passover,
Yeah. So
and
what do you do with
and
this
and and so
13:1 specifically?
now
Me?
Now
before
before the feast. No, not you.
so, yeah, so
Stephen.
that would be on the 14th, because it starts at sunset on the 14th, which would then become at dark is the 15th. So in
Okay.
preparation for the Passover, like when he tells uh they say, Lord, where will we have the Passover? And he says, do such
Go
and
and
stuff.
find the dude. Yeah.
Right, right. And so this is where and then even in the synoptics we have I've eagerly and anticipate. I'm doing a bad not a translation, but a referencing of what he says. He eagerly wanted to eat this Passover with you. And so Jesus is calling it a Passover. The Synoptic Gospels call it a Passover. The only reason I think this exists is because John's wording seems to imply, or it could imply, that it was before Passover, but that would be one out of the three. And also,
Right. But
uh,
John was deliberately trying to correct things that he thought were unclear in the synoptics.
so you would argue that for
Yeah.
this position, right? But it's not explicit.
John is
This
deliberately changing
it'd be a what's it, a conscious edit. The conscious edit argument.
Yeah. Except it
Because
actually works for John because John is literally doing that a number of places. But yeah, unlike the
oh,
Quran, which is just the
you would
dumbest
say that he
references.
does correct the synoptics in
He
certain
adds
areas.
details. Yeah, he definitely adds details where he
Oh
thinks that
yeah, I
things
would
are
agree.
unclear.
Adds details, but not in ways that would say as
Contradicting them.
corrections.
No.
Yeah, it just
There's
it
no
would
there's
be
not contradictions between John and the synoptics. He's adding additional clarifications for
Oh,
people.
okay. So you're saying the synoptics aren't saying that it's Passover, and he's adding the little nuances that show that. Is that what you would be saying?
Yeah, I would say that
Okay.
he's doing a better job at explaining what things are, and the people may have just been less clear. And Luke himself is just taking from Matthew and the other witnesses that he had. Mark is a
Mm-hmm.
combination of Luke and Matthew, and John is reading those three and just being like, huh, well, we need to make, well, first off, let's just make Jesus being God the clearest thing we can do right now. So, in the beginning was God, and the Word was God, the Word
Okay.
was God. It's like, oh, yeah. So, like, all of the Gospels teach Jesus as God, but not nearly as clearly as John does. And that's not because it went from low Christology to high Christology. All of them have high Christology, as I'm about to beat into people's heads on Friday. Um, but he's making it way more explicit and clear and adding this detail that the others don't. He has lots of stories and references and things to that the others don't in order to show, okay, this is actually why this happened, this is what we believe, this is why we believe it, this is what Jesus is doing. It's also why he has the high priestly prayer and all these other like he has as much content after the start of the Holy Week than he does before the start of Holy Week, and he's the
Right,
only
right,
one. Like
right,
in
right.
Matthew, the Holy Week starts in like chapter 26, like
Mm.
entirely lopsided compared to every other gospel, where
Yeah.
so much of John is
So
after the Last Supper.
I think a lot of this is kind of an issue only because Second Temple Judaism was kind of in a state of. I mean, you had the
Flux.
Pharisees, the Sadducees,
Yeah,
you had Jesus, and you had other groups,
the
and
Herodians.
so
Yeah,
certain yeah, and so you have certain terms that they knew what those meant when they were saying them, whereas us looking back on it, uh, we kind of struggle because this is
right.
really our main window into that culture and context. It's a very which again is kind of a nice argument for how significant Jesus was. Is this is a very, I mean, like, this is, we know more about the Druids, in certain ways, than we know about certain things, or that we ought to know about second second temple Judaism. It's
Right.
because of Jesus that these things have been kind of pushed into the forefront of knowledge, because people saw it as being important to record. So
Right.
on that topic, I think the interchangeability of a lot of terms, such as Passover, like, if I would actually wager to say that a lot of people who are familiar with Passover that don't keep it think that Passover is a 1 day thing.
Right.
However,
Instead of being a week.
Passover is a week long. It's the beginning of the Feast of Unleavened Bread,
Right.
which is a week. And
2
even in
weeks
the
for
New
the unleavened
Testament, they
bread.
use these interchangeably. So,
Right.
like in Matthew 26, he says, "Now on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, 'Where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover?'" So that's Matthew 26:17. Matthew's calling it the first day of unleavened bread, but it's not. This would be the 14th of Aviv, because you don't eat the Passover until the 15th. So even Matthew, and then Luke, where is it? Luke 22, he says, "Now the feast of unleavened bread, which is called the Passover, was near. Then came the
Was
day of
drawing
unleavened
near. Yeah.
bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed."
Right.
So it's not, it does get a little bit unclear for us, being so far removed and so culturally removed, as to which day are you guys talking about?
Right. For
Nissan,
there's been
Toyota.
multiple comments on that. Okay.
Oh,
Nissan
okay.
and
So
Aviv are the same
biblically, it's
thing.
Aviv. Yeah,
Aviv
Nissan
is the
came
old
in
term.
after the
Yeah.
Babylonian exile.
Yeah.
They
If you
they
go and
adopted
read
this
the Old
some,
Testament in Hebrew, you'll see Aviv whenever
yeah,
it's talking about it.
like Exodus
Yeah.
when the
A lot
commandments
of
given, Deuteronomy.
yeah. So in the law itself, in the Torah, it's Aviv. And then later on,
Hmm.
whenever they came up with month names for all of the months, because previously it was like Tishri, for example, was
Numbered.
just the 7th month. So
Right.
instead of it being the 7th month, it's now all of a sudden Tishri. So
Hmm.
same with Nisan. Nisan was just the 1st month, and well, it was Aviv, and Av is like the father, like the beginning.
Well,
So
and
the
Aviv
Aviv is like the
specifically is
beginning.
referencing the state that the barley in the land would be in, because that's how you would time it.
The
The month of
budding.
Aviv. Yeah, when the barley
Mm,
would be in the Aviv state. And that's a whole other tangent we could go down. Uh, but yeah, biblically, Aviv, they would have said Aviv. Now, no, well, I say biblically, after the Babylonian exiles, when they picked up some Babylonian names for the
yeah.
months. Uh,
So just because Stephen is
but
a Torah observant Jew
I'm used
Christian,
to using.
um, yeah, he's used to using Aviv. So
Mm,
just filter that in your
uh,
brain as you will. But
yeah, sorry.
Nissan, Aviv, same thing.
I'll try to use Nissan for smoothness. But so in Mark 14 says, now on the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover lamb, his disciples said to him, where do you want us to go and prepare that we may eat the Passover? So Chris, I think that would be an issue for you, for your position, uh, because that would be an actual contradiction if you take John as presenting this as a pre Passover meal. Mark 14:12 is what I was reading from.
Okay.
So this is now on the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover lamb, his disciples said to him, where do you want us to go and prepare that we may eat the Passover? So he's talking about the 14th of Aviv there. That's when they would kill the lamb. And then you would eat
Right.
it that night, which would
Right.
begin the 15th. So if
Yeah.
you take that John is doing a 13th, I guess it would be the 13th of Aviv going into the 14th that evening, then that would
Right. With
be in
Aviv
direct
being
contradiction with Mark.
right.
Whereas I don't think you have to do. I think John is, because the main things a lot of people bring up when they come to the Praetorium with Pilate, and it says they didn't want to go in because they would be unclean to eat the Passover.
Mm.
And that's when I brought up the Hagigah offering, which
When
would be
did
eaten.
when did Tishri
Sorry, what
one
were you
become
saying?
Rosh Hashanah?
I mean,
During After the Babylonian exile,
Okay, so that wasn't
because
originally the first month.
it's
no.
no, they call it the
Aviv.
first civil month, because there is a.
Yeah.
I mean, but we have explicitly stated in Exodus, I think, it says this will be the first of months for you,
Also, that was like
explicitly.
the
So,
12th time I've asked that, but I had like accidentally unplugged my camera and then plugged it back
oh,
in, and the mic hadn't turned back on, and I hadn't realized y'all couldn't hear me. So I kept waiting till there was a pause and then going, "When did Tishri one become Rosh Hashanah? What did Tishri one become
sorry.
Rosh Hashanah?" I'm like, "This is weird. Are they trying to avoid this question or something?" And then I realized that my mic wasn't even turned on. I'm over here talking
you
to
have too
nobody.
you have too powerful of Dawa. We can't answer your
Yeah,
question.
you guys are over there just like, man, he's finally shut up for once. It's so nice.
Sweating bullets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're able to finally get some
So,
words in without Christian Gadfly blabbing.
yeah, they've later said that Rosh Hashanah was the anniversary of the creation of the universe, which is why it's the new year.
Yes, correct.
Even though
And in Hebrew, Rosh
God
Hashanah, the
explicitly
first of the
stated,
year.
right, Rosh is the head of something and Shana's year. Um,
Hmm.
you have God explicitly with Aviv saying this will be your first month. And it's also the month that
Correct.
Jesus is killed and the start of the new creation and like all that typology. So God
Hmm.
establishes the first month to later be the month that he is killed. Um to show the old creation versus new creation, old covenant versus new covenant, and all the fun typology and prophecy stuff. Uh, but God
Yeah.
Himself
So
established
biblically, Rosh
what the year
Hashanah, that
was.
that that term doesn't exist. It's called Yom Teruah. And interestingly, this
Mm,
is why I believe that Jesus will return on that day. It's the only holiday in the Bible that is is given no reason for celebrating. Every other holy day has a very explicit reason why we observe it, why we keep it, and what it represents. Yom Teruah, which Teruah in Hebrew means loud noise. It could be done in for war or for celebration,
Yeah.
but it
The
just
day of
means loud
noise.
noise.
Yeah.
The day of loud noise, and there is no
Yeah.
reason. God does not tell you why you should celebrate this day. Where every other one, there's all
Which,
sorts of very deep, meaningful reasons. And so,
to
to
be
me,
fair
that's the
though,
day. And
Jesus was
are you going to
born
say as a
and there
birthday?
were angels that did have trumpets and there was a loud noise.
Correct. And the only reason I would say that the only argument I would have against that, I wouldn't say that it's definitely disprovable. The only argument I
Right.
would have against that is that I feel like it would be so unwise of the Romans to have a census where people had to travel on that day, and
Yeah.
also that such an important day that I feel like any one of the gospel writers would have mentioned. And by the way, I mean this would have been huge uh, to the audience. By the way,
Right.
look, he was born on Yom Teruah. That would be a big deal. So I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying I feel like, and I guess would that be kind of like, could you rightly point that out as an argument from silence? But I think it's
I would say a little bit. It's a
okay, but I think it's a
conspicuous
pretty
silence at least.
strong. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he was for sure born in the fall. So
yeah, I agree with that.
what do you do with that? Like, but I mean, if he's exactly 6 months after John, we know John was born around Nisan 10 or Aviv 10.
Mm,
If he's exactly 6 months, then Jesus would be born right around Yom Kippur. Um,
mm.
which in and of itself, that's pretty significant. But if he was actually born during Rosh Hashanah, that would still be like 2 weeks before they had to do the pilgrimage.
Yeah, correct.
So you still
So
have at least enough time for like less likely. I don't know,
yeah,
but
it just seems like the Romans were so sensitive, like even with Pilate, with the tradition of at Passovers giving up a prisoner.
right.
They
Well,
were
that
pretty in
is like
tune with trying to
30
avoid
years.
revolt. Well,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean that
good
is
point.
33 years later after the revolts already started.
Mm,
Because before then, like with the Herodians, Herod stamped out resistance and rebellion.
yeah.
Dude was brutal. He murdered
Well, and he
most of his
also was
family.
wasn't he like half Assyrian? He wasn't even like full Jew, Herod.
I don't
So
remember off the top of my head.
he was like he was interesting in all sorts of ways. The whole Herodian dynasty. What were we
Yeah.
talking about though? I think I took us off way over. We were talking about Aviv, I think. Aviv versus Nissan. Um,
Oh, well, we were talking about the Passover and when that was going to be happening.
yeah.
When
Okay,
if
so
yeah,
Mark, what what do you do with Mark 14:12 from your position, Chris?
yeah, I don't know.
Because I think that kind of, unless you want to just acknowledge that there's like a blatant contradiction between the two, I think that kind of settles it.
Yeah,
And I think it does kind of come down to what I was saying about like the interchangeability of terms.
right.
I mean, even when I was a kid, I knew about Passover, but I just knew it was a thing. But I thought it was a 1 day thing. Even after watching the wonderful Rugrats Passover special, if any of you guys have ever seen that. But Passover to me was just a day. I had no clue about the feast of unleavened bread, the whole week of unleavened bread. And it turns
Right.
out, I mean, even today Jews use the terms interchangeably, and all the way back then they were as well. And that is so, like, even with Mark 14:12, we see he calls it the first day of unleavened bread, which you could see putting yourself in there when that's the day when you go take your lamb to the temple.
Hmm.
You'd want to be there for that. It's not a Sabbath or anything, but you got to get your lamb offered
Right.
so that you could take it
Which I
back
mean,
in that night.
right. That's technically not even the first day of unleavened bread. So
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
he's he's historically wrong about that statement,
Or
which in and of itself gets into
he's
it's
etymologically, I
not
guess, wrong. But
exact.
he's not. But
Yeah, he's not
right,
he's
right,
not exact in the way that we want him to be exact as modern day readers. So this is
correct.
a term used to identify the setting, not necessarily like a hey, this is exactly Nissan 14.
Right, kind of like
But
if you had a debate with a Muslim about Rebecca being three, and then we were talking about it on
okay.
your stream, and you go, I destroyed that guy, and we'd go, oh well, Chris, you could have just debated him. You didn't
Disagreed
have
with
to
him.
destroy him.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we've got going on here because we are removed again and again. But what we have to take into consideration is we're reading this is pre-temple destruction. So this is a
Right.
very unique time in history and in culture for this particular people group. And so things were not exactly as they're not so clean, I guess I would say, as to when we look back and say, well, Mark says it was the first day of unleavened bread, but that's not when they sacrificed the lambs. They sacrificed the lambs the day before that. But to Mark, in that time, that's what they called it because everyone would already been in town and there would have been millions of people coming in and out of the temple courts. So,
Right.
and
And he
I
might
think
be writing this for
another,
an audience that's only vaguely familiar with it anyways.
right,
Like there's some evidence that he's writing to Gentiles specifically.
right. And
So
so another thing I think though is when they talk about let me flip through here.
I did want to bring out one thing while you're looking for that. So Chuck
Okay.
Missler points out that the resurrection would have occurred on Aviv 17, which ended up being the same day on the old calendar that Noah and his family exited the ark, which is neat in and of
Seventh
itself. But it's
month.
also the day of first fruits. So the resurrection would be the first
Yes,
fruits.
that's much more important. Yes, and
Yeah.
definitely yes. Now rabbis would argue with that. The Pharisees would argue with that. That's another thing we could. Oh man, we could go into that too. Uh, First fruits. So how the rabbis do it? They always do it on a certain day. They have a day marked for first fruits.
Yeah.
Biblically, in the law of Moses, you count. It's called the counting of the Omer. You count 50 days from the day of first fruits to get to Pentecost. Man, my tired brain. I might be. It's reminding me of what they say about Paul. Much learning hath made you mad, but in my case, it would be much learning and no sleep has made you mad. I don't want to be off topic. I think I might be. That would be it for the dating of Pentecost. That's more important. Yes, but first fruits definitely.
It is indeed.
Jesus was
The
resurrected
first fruits of
on
the dead.
first fruits.
Yeah.
Yes, which
And
is
then
really awesome. And if you're not familiar with first
right.
fruits, it's in Leviticus 23. I think you can read about all the holy days, and it's the day after the Sabbath during Passover week. So it's always on a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, just like
Yep.
Pentecost is always on a Sunday.
Yep.
And
So no matter which of the views you take, whether it's Wednesday or Friday crucifixion, you still end
mhm,
up with the first fruits resurrection, which is
yes,
still just like
correct.
choice
Mhm.
based. Yeah. And I went over
And
that in
so
my video that I did on the festivals. But
okay, and so the thing left for us is then when was Jesus sacrificed? And I would just say that we would like this very nice tidy typology of him being crucified when the lambs were being sacrificed. It would be
yeah.
wonderful and it would line up perfectly. I just don't think scripturally you can support that unless you want to acknowledge that there are contradictions, which I would argue they on the surface level they seem like contradictions, but they're very easily resolved. And that's what we're supposed to be talking about, and I did all this. So I'm sorry.
Which is also why I don't hold like a really hard fast view on this, because I think it is up for debate and interpretation. Which if
Mhm.
you have something that is up for debate and interpretation that isn't necessary for salvation, you're gonna end up ruffling feathers for no reason. So I don't take a. I
Right,
like
right.
just presenting all the views and then just letting people come to their own conclusions. Um, including with this. So like
I
September
think it
11th,
is
3
important
BC.
for. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
just gonna say the day I currently think Jesus was born was actually October 1st, 4 BC. There you go. If you want to go look at the calendars and all that stuff, I made a video on it actually. Anyway, go ahead.
Mhm. I was just gonna say I think it's important for the whole picture that we view Jesus as celebrating the Passover, and even though that removes him from being crucified when the lambs for Passover were being crucified, there still was uh, the Hagigah offerings that happened on the 15th of Aviv that would have been happening at the time of Jesus being crucified. And so, even though he's not, just because also there's a lot of really neat parallels with Jesus and the Yom Kippur lamb goats, but they don't line up exactly. But there's still things in there, and I would say that we don't need them to line up exactly for
You get the
the
point.
meaning of certain things to still be fulfilled or represented in Jesus.
Right.
And
Which
so when
even
it
with like the
comes
fall
to
festivals,
Passover, mhm,
so like the fall festivals, you have every single one of the fall festivals, including the man-made fall festival of the 8th day. All four of those point to Jesus and his
well,
birth.
so when you say the eighth day, you're talking about the end of Sukkot.
Yeah, where they
Okay, so
celebrate
it's
the last of the harvest.
yeah, yeah. So the eighth day is actually not man-made. They now the rabbis celebrate it as they call it in the Bible. It's called Shemini Atzeret, the eighth Atzeret, uh, eighth day of. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting this. I'm so stupid right now. But they now call it the oh my gosh. You know what? If anything I've learned, I just need to sleep so I can not do this on the Monday live streams. Something Torah, Simchat Torah. That's what the modern Jews call
Mm.
the eighth day of
Oh
Sukkot,
yeah,
Simchat
the
Torah,
end of the
because
Torah
that's when they
reading.
start over the Torah readings for the year.
Yeah.
Uh, that's not biblical. Biblical, it's called Shmini Atzeret, the eighth day, and so it actually the eighth day would mean to biblically what we would take it to mean as Christians. It's like a day outside of
Right.
time after the harvest. It represents eternity. The rabbis, because they don't know Yeshua at the moment, they don't view how significant that is. They just take that as
Well,
that's when we restart the annual Torah readings.
also, if Jesus was born during Sukkot, the 8th day, whenever he was circumcised, would be the 8th day,
Uh-huh.
which I think is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cute myself.
Yeah.
So, and then also that obviously that day itself symbolizes the eternal rest for the
Right.
people because it's the
God
rest of the work for the
tabernacling with
year for
man
winter.
in eternity.
God
Right.
tabernacling in Sukkot, and then on the 8th day he's circumcised to now actually bring us the lamb to be slain that will then bring us the eternal rest. So
And
you
also,
have
is it
a lot of
Ezekiel
symbolism there.
or Zechariah that talks about how in the during the messianic reign, every nation must uh, turn up to Jerusalem to celebrate Sukkot, or else their lands will not get rain. Which book is that in, Chris? I'm so
I think it's Ezekiel.
is it
Uh,
Ezekiel or is it Zechariah?
You mean Zachariah?
It says all nations. Oh yeah, sorry.
Look at
Stupid
my
Judaizer.
subheading. Look at my subheading, Steven. I keep changing it every time you say some weird word.
it's
It's
good,
It's a
not
giga,
Hagi.
not a giga. They're all of them are. All these
also let's
subheadings
have
need to be
a
read like in the voice of Hermione from Harry Potter. It's Leviosa,
Actually,
not
Christian,
Leviosa.
That's a
you weren't
het,
here
so that
yet.
should be a ch at the beginning. By the
Well,
way, it's
no,
Chayil.
historically it's a ha sound.
Yeah, the
The
first one
ha
was
sound comes from the cuff. But anyway, Christian, how do you say that word? How would you say that word?
triclinium.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I must be a weirdo. I was saying triclinium. But you know, there's so many words that you just only ever read and you don't hear out loud. And so when I was talking about the table setup, it was like, I don't know if it's a triclinium because it's not a triangle, it's a triangle.
That's true.
So I was like, this is probably a triclinium. But to me,
It's
I kept
Zechariah.
saying triclinium. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
if
Zechariah.
it
Okay.
was a if it
It,
was an element, I would assume it's triclinium, and then if it was a shape, I would assume it's triclinium.
so back to Zachariahu, Chris, you were saying something about Zachariahu.
Gesundheit.
My favorite one is like there's so many names that are not even close in the English. Like Isaiah's name, for example, is Jesus' name backwards. But you would never get that from Isaiah from the English.
Well, yeah, Yeshayahu.
Yeah.
Sounds nothing like Isaiah.
It
How
sounds
about
nothing like Isaiah, and it sounds nothing like Jesus. But it's literally Jesus'
Mhm.
name with the first two just swapped. So it
how
just
about
Yeah,
these
yeah,
ends in
yeah.
names?
theophoric
Yeah,
Yahoo. Yeah. So it's salvation comes from God. Salvation comes from Yahweh is Isaiah, and
yeah.
Yehoshua is God is my salvation. So it's just swapping the
Right, right.
two. They sound totally different in the English, and you won't even know about it
Yeah.
unless you looked at it in the Hebrew.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's what a lot. I
Yeshayahu.
remember when I was a kid living near Mexico, and there'd be kids named Jesus, and I was like, people name themselves Jesus. That's weird. But the weird thing is, actually, in English, anyone who's named Joshua, that's Yeshua. That Joshua is Yeshua. So anyone in
So
English
my
who's
son's
named
name.
Joshua is technically named Jesus. But we just it
Yeah.
doesn't register to our ears that way.
I have Hebrew on my son's name whenever he was born. And I joked about
My
making his
poor
name
son,
legally in Hebrew.
I named him Gabriel for Gabriel. And so many people either
Oh, with
think
the V?
it's yeah, and so many people
Ah,
think it's a girl, he's a girl, Gabrielle, or they're like,
Gabriel.
oh, Gabriel, they call him Gabriel. And so I mean, I feel bad kind of that I did that to him, but it's a great name. God is my strength. And he totally lives up to that. I mean,
That's a mighty. I think it's a mighty
he's a
warrior
mighty
of
man.
God. Mighty warrior of
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Gab-
Gabriel, God is like my strength or my might comes from God. And
Hmm.
but it just doesn't work in English. And like my daughter, she's Sephora, and we get Sephora or Sipra or all these things. And so we just call her Birdie because that's what that name means, Birdie. And but yeah, there's a lot of funny things between when you go from Hebrew to Greek to English or Hebrew to Latin. Like James, my middle name is James, but James is actually just the
Same.
Latin version of Jacob,
Yep.
which is
Yaakov.
Yaakov. Oh wait, my favorite
Yeah,
Jewish
and
name doesn't
spelled,
sound like English. Oh wow, perfect timing.
yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
spelled exactly
So in
the same
Hebrew,
as well.
like
So
I'm
you cannot tell a difference between James and Yaakov, like Jacob, because it's the exact same letters in Hebrew. So it's just like,
oh right, but that went to
I
Latin
know.
because in Hebrew,
Right.
what's it like
And then it became
Jacobus
different.
or Jacobos or something
Uh
in Greek, but in Latin
yes.
it goes to
Jacobus?
James.
Jacobus?
Ja-
Yeah.
Jacobus, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jacobus.
So what was
Mm,
I think Christian Gadfly was going to show us
My name is
something, which is
No, I was just
James.
gonna say the silliest one of all is from English to Spanish with James, and Spanish is Santiago. It's like,
oh
how does that? How does it sound anything like
yeah,
James?
yeah, Saint
Wait.
Iago,
Yeah,
which is
Santiago.
actually
Wouldn't
Iago would be a lot closer to the Hebrew than what James became because it's Yaakov
sure.
in Hebrew.
Yaakov.
So
Oh
Iago
yeah,
is very similar.
And maybe
But then you
San
get
is just Saint.
James.
So it's just Saint
Yeah,
James. Yeah.
Saint James.
Well, maybe they're on to something.
Oh, I was like, where is the world is the Santi coming from? Because that means saint or like the holy.
Yeah,
That makes sense if it is literally
Saint
Sans
James.
Iago. Yeah,
Wasn't one of
literally
the Power
Saint
Rangers?
Jacob.
Yeah, it was Austin St. James. Remember that from when I was a kid. I remember thinking that's a weird last name, St. James with like ST.
Just Santiago. Interesting. Anyways, this has gone such a
Yeah, boy. I didn't even know where we were. There we go. Okay, everybody that's tuning in, if you were waiting for things to go off the rails, we might not be wearing
Well, this is not-
costumes, but everything's kind of.
Little Saint James. Oh man.
Ah.
That dude. That dude. Anyway, I wasn't sure if we were going to go over John 14 or not today. I don't know if we're going to because you both seem exhausted.
We're exhausted. There's
Well,
some
and I do have to
weirdo.
avoid my bladder.
There's some weirdo who comments on every single one of my videos. Don't forget about Epstein. Don't forget about Epstein. When he gets to this part where it's like Little St. James, which is the name of his island, he's like, "Oh my God, Epstein! You can't forget him."
It was
Wait,
also
so is
his
for him, is
gamer tag
Epstein
on
the new
Xbox.
9/11?
I guess so. You just never
Never
forget.
forget. Never forget 9/11.
yeah, so
also, never forget.
Turns out he was a bit of a gamer, and Littlest James or Little Saint James
Oh,
was his
I
gamer
heard that.
tag. Yeah.
You know
Which
who else was
also
a
may or may
gamer?
not have turned back on after he died, and someone played some Call of Duty with it. Anyway,
Interesting.
who else was a gamer?
Sospechoso.
Muy interesante.
Sospechoso.
That means suspicious. Another person who's a big gamer was Osama bin Laden,
Yes.
and he had
also
Final
had
Fantasy
a massive
VII.
collection.
Yeah, he had some good
Yeah.
taste. He had Final Fantasy VII on his laptop.
He also
Good
had
choice.
a massive collection of hentai. Yeah. Dudes
What's
into some
that?
Asians.
And I know that I've heard that, but what is?
It's Japanese
What'd he
adult
say?
cartoons.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of it. Yeah, yeah, and then also that too. Yeah, but
I think
that's
that's
just
kind of a
Muslims.
given his.
Yeah, that's par for the course with those people.
It's lonely out there in the sand
Yeah,
when you
gotta
don't
get
have
the
any.
big-
When there's no men of Al Zoot nearby.
But you know,
gotta get the thick
I
booty
try
goats.
not to be. I try not to be presumptive or assumptive, if that's a word. I try not to think ahead. But when you see those competitions where they have those goats with those jiggly
Yeah.
butts.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so again, I don't want to. I know nothing about it other than I've seen those videos where they're at shows and they're like, "Look how jiggly my goat butt is."
Yeah.
I give the benefit of the doubt to say that serves a purpose that's not what would be the stereotype. Right? Can somebody please tell me that?
Sweet
No.
Stephen. Oh, sweet,
No.
naive,
It-
kind-hearted
Oh,
Stephen.
no, I cannot tell you that.
can't.
Mostly because I've seen video evidence of the contrary. So, yeah, like I don't know if I can actually say this on stream. I saw one dude preparing the goat for the competition.
Not preparing the
Where
goat,
you
not
take it
for
to
a Last
dinner
Supper.
and right.
He was cleaning it quite
Uh.
thoroughly with his hands, and all the
Oh
crevices and holes.
no!
So
Wait, like that?
yeah,
Wait, so are there? I don't know. I just shouldn't. I mean, that brings up so many questions.
Stop asking questions, Stephen.
Yeah,
It-
I won't.
it
I won't
will-
do it. You know,
It
what?
will
I'm gonna
only
go
lead to
pee.
more answers.
I'm just gonna be straightforward. Hey, everybody, I'm gonna go pee. There's no code words here. I'm just gonna get right
There's
away from the jiggly butt goats and
He's got
and
another
Chris,
stream
I'll
going.
still hear you guys, but yeah, but I'm gonna take a quick
there's some
breather.
websites dedicated. There's some websites dedicated to answering your question that I don't think you want to know about.
So
But
anyway,
yes.
back to the Bible. This long pause. What's the
Steven is
Bible
doing some
got to
live
say?
streaming. What's the Bible got to say about goats? Sacrifice them, don't breed with them. Anyway,
Oh
I got a DM
man,
on.
I gotta tell the stream. 2 days ago I swam a mile. Then yesterday I did a whole something called a deck workout where you go through a deck of cards and do everything in the cards. And then today I ran 30 minutes and did a minute and a half of sprints during that with in 20-second increments. So I'm tired. I'm so tired.
I haven't been able to walk briskly in over a week without the overwhelming urge to poop my pants. So, we were
Have,
actually going to go to the gym today. Uh, not happen. But yeah,
do you have any
eventually work out
weights
again.
in your bathroom?
Uh, that would be a good idea. Just whenever I'm stuck in there
So
for weeks at a
sad.
time.
Try to get some kind of a pathetic workout. Luckily, as a dad,
Uh,
like I'll flex in the mirror and be like, how did my arms get so big? And it's because you're throwing your kids around all the time, even if you don't have time to work out. But you don't get good cardio just naturally, so you'll end up getting fatter and fatter. But that's where the dad
right.
bod comes from. You have big muscles from throwing kids on the couch, and then you have a big belly from lack of sleep, cortisol, and no aerobic exercise. It's all anaerobic. Because even you're like,
And
well, I bet you run around and chase your kids. No, you find games where you don't have to move. It's like, oh no, I'm a zombie, and then you like barely move because you're just tired all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Your body also, whenever you have your first kid, it goes into a fat reserve mode, like permanently. So if you ever need to go hungry to feed your kids, you can. Same thing happens to women. So parents are significantly fatter than non-parents, even with the same age. Uh, just your body, it just goes through it.
Another
But I did
lazy
not.
game. I play a game called the Sleepy Dinosaur, and like all I do is I'm on all fours, barely crawling along, and then I'll just fall on one of my kids, and they have to try to climb out from underneath me. And it's like the Sleepy
Yeah.
Dinosaur, yeah. And so they'll
Same
team
thing.
up, trying
Don't
to
sleep
push
your
me off.
dinosaur, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Then I
come up with
have one of them
games.
try to like wrestle the other one out.
Yeah. Yeah. You come up with games that involve just the least amount of effort on your part and the most amount of effort on their part. Kind of like what Dawa people do to us, where they make up something and then you have to spend like a whole week reading books. You know it's crap because it's always crap. But you have to go and you have to read like all these church fathers to figure out what they're talking about. And go, oh yeah, this is definitely crap because of this, and this. What they're doing to us, that's what you need to do to your kids. Play a game where you barely put in any effort and you just wear them out.
Yeah. You sound like the dad on Bluey.
Yeah.
Bandit is such a goated dad. I'm not nearly as creative or enthused to do the types of games that Bluey um like I I if I could ever be like Bandit, that would be a crazy thing. Um
Creativity and boredom are bedfellows. So allow your
yeah,
family to get in a position where everybody's bored and then weird games start appearing.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the weird game that my daughter came up with the other day, but she just is a weird kid. I sent you the picture earlier of her like slapping me in the face with oranges. But she literally walked in here and said, "Daddy, I'm hungry." Orange. and then like literally just started. And it wasn't just once; she just kept repeating it and said, "Open, open, open." She's 2, and I'm like, "Calm down, child. It's literally bedtime. You're in your pajamas. You're not getting a cup of oranges at the moment." But
My kid said
anyway,
that her grits look sparkly when she crosses her eyes, and she wants to eat magical grits. So she crossed her eyes, and she's eating the grits. Okay, I'm glad you can have magic in
uh,
your life.
yeah. Ooh, I do want to go over this passage in John 14.
John
Um,
14. That's where Muhammad's predicted, right? He needs to be predicted
uh,
somewhere because it's not like 7157's lying. The Quran says that
oh,
he's
of course
mentioned
not.
in the Torah and the Injil. So
Yeah, well,
I'm
he is
guessing.
mentioned in the Torah, just not the right Torah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a talk of a Gentile prophet in the Talmud, which I think he's actually thinking
Oh.
he is.
Oh
Um,
okay.
I, I'll eventually make a video on that, but there is enough overlap of so there's a belief that from Malachi on there was no prophets, and whenever the end happens, whenever the Messiah comes back, prophecy will return. So that's a view within the Talmud. So I think because he says that, oh, Jesus is about to come back, like the end is nigh, because he's a doomsday rabbi, I think he thinks that he's actually the fulfillment of the Jewish belief that the prophets will return before the Messiah. Um, and he obviously thought the end was happening then. He has so many statements about the end happening immediately. Even within the Quran, you have stuff with it. But the Hadith is just so clear that Muhammad thought the end of the world was going to happen immediately. So because of that, you can go through not only the Gentile prophet passages of the Talmud, but also the end times passages of the Talmud and the description of what the prophecy is meant to do and accomplish. And I think he thinks that he's some form of that fulfillment. So whenever he says that he's actually in the scriptures, I don't think he's lying. I think he actually believes that. Now he's wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
I was just thinking
super
about
blatantly
I
obviously.
was thinking about two things today that both relate to this live stream. One is how totally ignorant Muhammad is if you just separate the Quran from everything else. And it's like it seems to be like he thinks that the only holy books are the Torah and the Injil. He's not even aware that the Injil's multiple books and that there's a whole New Testament canon. And people would be like, well, no, he's just affirming those particular books. It's like, really? Well, then how come he says nothing about all the other books saying they're crap? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's
Or
speaking
even
as
all of
though,
the rest of the Old Testament.
yeah, he's speaking as though he's affirming all these prior prophets and their books. And then he can only name the 2 books. One of them's a bunch of, I mean, they're both really a collection of books together. He doesn't seem to know what their origin really is. He seems to think that the Injil was given to Jesus. And
Right.
then, confusing Miriam and Mary, putting Haman with Pharaoh, putting a Samaritan with Pharaoh, thinking that Pharaoh crucified people. Like it just goes on and on. And then I've
Saul
started
and
to go
Gideon mix
through.
up.
Yeah, Saul and
Yeah.
Gideon mixed up, and every single time he says there's something in the Injil and Torah, it's not there. Like
Yep.
9111, where he says that jihad is in both. And I've seen Muslims
Yep.
respond to this. I need to see some of the responses, but it's like, how do you respond? Because it's not really
It's
jihad.
it's in the oral stuff though. Every single
Yeah.
time, other than maybe one, every single time he says you'll find this in the scriptures. It's not in the Bible, but it is in the oral tradition he's pulling from.
Interesting.
So I have that within the book. I'll break that down, go through that. But even the Zabib, um, so within Surah 7, you have the description of, oh, well, this is the description of the people of the book. And then you just don't find it even a
Yep.
little bit. See the description of the prophet and of his people, and neither of those you find, but you do find it within the oral tradition vaguely. It's not usually one to one, although there are some times where it is one to one. Like obviously in 532, whenever he quotes the rabbis, uh, but even all the other allusions that he makes, it's still like you can find a loose approximation to what he's talking about. So it's just whatever source he's pulling from is slightly different worded than the sources we have written down. But he's obviously getting it from the Jews and Christians around him.
Uh, another thing,
Muhammad's
I, another thing that was in the back of my mind, but my mic wasn't working, was when we were talking about how John isn't correcting the synoptics, but he is giving more details. When I was on my run today, I was thinking about how in the synoptics, there's false witnesses accusing Jesus of saying, "Just I'll destroy this temple and rebuild it in 3 days." And then in John, it like gives actually the cleared up quote where he's saying, that he's the temple, destroy this temple and be rebuilt in 3 days. That's a perfect example. Where it's like the synoptics will like, you know, obliquely refer to something that happened, and then John gives it more resolution.
right. And that's pretty much my view as well for the creations. Um, Steven's back from his live stream.
I do these. I end up seeing the family. My wife is a tuning in, and my daughter is tuning in and out, and so we get on these different. We were talking about sleep apnea and all sorts of things. I think
Oh,
Chris.
your wife was watching that.
I need to look into that. I need to. The only thing I was saying is, there's no way. I don't sleep at home. There's no way I'm going to be able to sleep in a lab. I'm going to make
You
so
don't
many
have to.
nurses and doctors so annoyed because I'm going to be there and they're going to be like, "Hey, go to sleep already," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't." Like, and then so I think my
That's
best
fine.
bet is to get one of those newfangled Apple watches that can. I'm not going to get a, professional diagnosis, but I can at least see for myself, and
Figure
maybe
out
I
if you
can get
need
a,
a
a,
CPAP
black
machine.
market
Yeah.
CPAP machine.
Okay,
Christian, you missed that
your
whole
life
part of the
insurance
thing.
Yeah, y'all are
should
making
be able to cover your
references. I'm
CPAP.
like, a lab? What are you talking about? And references and inside jokes. Y'all have had a whole
No, those
friendship in the time it took me to get on here.
well, the first 15 minutes of the stream was a little bit of a tangent where
Mm,
I walked through how your chronological age for ECGs versus your predicted age by AI can actually help determine how healthy you are. And then I mentioned that my current project I'm working on for work is sleep apnea. So prediction via ECG on whether or not you have sleep apnea without having to do a sleep study. So they can just have a recording and then that can tell you with a certain confidence currently sitting around a 0.77 AUC, which is not horrible. That's not, perfect. It's better than nothing. It's better than what we currently have.
well, you know
Um,
what, Chris is.
we can
I've been asked several
predict
times
OSM.
by doctors when I go to see them because like anxiety is that's like my main health problem, and it's not.
Yeah.
I think people have this idea of anxiety as like, oh, you're preoccupied with worry about this or that. I'm not that way. I mean, even up to this last one, we were talking about my job and everything, how that sorted itself out. I don't sit around and think, and I've had like with my dad and everything, all sorts of traumatic experiences, but my mind is not preoccupied with those things. And so I think a lot of people, when they hear anxiety, they think that like you're a worry wart or like you're just
Mhm.
sitting down and like at dinner with your kids and you're thinking, yeah, but I mean, tomorrow we might not be able to afford dinner. What do we do? I'm a pretty laid back person as far as that goes. I didn't used to be, but I am. Uh, and so like even right now, like my car is pretty much dead, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm perfectly comfortable with just God knows I need to get to work and to the store. A car will turn up, and actually, how I got that car was that way. The car I currently have. So I don't have this like this psychological preoccupation with worry or anything like that. I'm pretty laid back, my anxiety is more of a it must be like a subconscious thing. Like one time I went to the emergency room, I thought I was having a heart attack, and I walk in, and the lady at the front desk in the emergency room, she goes, "Oh, okay, what's the issue?" And I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. I had chest pain, I couldn't breathe. And then she looks at me, and I think I was like 23 or 24, and she was like, "Okay, fill out this paperwork and blah blah blah, and go sit over there." And I was like, "Wait a minute, lady, I'm having a heart attack. Like, you're lucky I made it here." I thought I was dying, but then when we were waiting, because we had to wait for like, I mean, it probably was a lot shorter than I feel like it was, because I was having an anxiety attack. But in the meantime, before they called me back, uh, my wife was with me, and I started talking about my dad, and I started crying. And after I cried, I felt completely better. And I was like, "Oh, I mean, they don't need to call us
Steven,
back. I can go home."
what
Yes.
kind of dreams do you have when you dream?
Well, I just actually had a dream last night about my brother.
Uh-huh.
I have some pretty. I've never actually had any good dreams about my dad. I have a lot of dreams I have are typical, I'd say. I do have some significant dreams where it's usually my dad is there, and he's angry and he's drunk. And
Hmm.
then, or also, though, the last dream I had about him, he was fine, and it caused me within the dream to say, "This must be a dream, because this is weird. Like, I thought my dad was dead, but now he's here and everything's cool." So I think it's a lot of subconscious stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but and so that's why, like Chris, we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, like I didn't sleep last night because I even put myself to bed like a good boy. I mean, it was still too late for responsible people. It was like 1:30.
Yeah,
But
I'm
even
getting
my
off
daughter
here real
goes,
soon.
"You're yeah." My
I'm
daughter
not like
goes, "You're
you
going to
night
bed at
owls.
1:30? Like, good job, Baba." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying." And
Well,
then as
no
soon
wonder
as I
you have
fell asleep,
anxiety.
well, I
I'm
fell
so
asleep for
stupid.
10 minutes, and I
Yeah.
woke up with an anxiety attack. I thought I was
Yeah.
suffocating, and my heart's beating, and I couldn't breathe. And then I was like, "Okay, I'm used to this kind of like it comes in stages, but it's not usual that it'll interrupt my sleep." But so last night it did. And so then I was like, "Okay." Took me about a half hour to recover to be able to go back to sleep. Then it happened again. And then it just happened all night, to the
That's your
point where
subconscious trying to talk to you. So that's how your subconscious
I think
talks to you
so.
is through your dreams. Like
Hmm.
and a lot of times it'll be a metaphor for what you actually need to do. So there was one time when I'd gone a long time without visiting my mom. I hadn't even been thinking about it consciously, but then I dreamed that I was in her garden and all the fruits were overripe and were rotting on the plants. And I felt sad. And I woke up and I go, what the hell was that? And I thought about it a long time, and it was where I had neglected my relationship with her. And so it was like a garden that hadn't been tended to and hadn't been drawn from. I hadn't been harvesting from
Hmm.
it. A common dream with me is where I'll be with a group of friends from like so in my 20s is probably some of the funnest times of my life where like I worked at a Christian camp and had really good community. And so I'll dream about times when I've been in really good community, like when I was in band in high school, or when I was in the bagpipe band, or whenever I was working at this camp. And it's like my subconscious longing for the deep community connections I used to have.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's just yeah, you got like you have daddy issues. No, but you have you just have a deep insecurity because you have that reliance in a father figure, but you could never really rely on him, and your subconscious is trying to figure it out, and so you can't ever
Oh
really
yeah,
feel safe.
definitely.
Yeah,
So I don't
Yeah.
dream. What does that mean of me?
you might be. Jung would say that your subconscious and conscious is pretty integrated, and I think that's easy to believe because you don't have a filter, and so there's no like it's like your subconscious doesn't need to communicate anything to you because it's already integrated into your consciousness. So there's no yeah, there's no inner voice trying to get out. It's just everything's already blah.
And I have a couple dreams every year. Usually when I just go to sleep and I wake up grumpy. So it's like a time machine for me. So I
Now,
just
I did
don't
have a dream though
experience
of
anything.
that I talked about with Chris vaguely, but when I was 17 years old, I had a dream that there, and I even wrote it down and revisit it every so many years because it seemed so important, but I could never make any sense of it. But in this dream, it was me and two other people, and we were in this vast expanse, like kind of like a parking lot, but I don't think it was paved. And it was like there was three animals that were lined up, uh, that were like they were significant. It was a hyena, and it was a white wolf, and a black lion.
Hmm.
And in the dream, God assigned me to the black lion.
Interesting.
And I just thought, well, there's no such thing as black lions, so that's weird. And so lion obviously has a lot of biblical meaning, but like black tends to be like not necessarily biblically, but just culturally like a negative connotation. There goes Chris. Yeah. So I was talking about because my daughter was and I were talking about Joseph a couple Shabbats ago, and about dreams and how they can be like they can mean things. And then she goes, Bava, have you ever thought about Chris's logo? And I said, no. And so then I was like, is that what it is? And so then I was like furiously going through my journals to try to find the entry where I wrote about it. And I because I know I had made a drawing, and I'd love to find it. It's somewhere in my impressive bookshelf that's out of sight. But I have so many journals. But that was when I was 17 years old, and there was this black line. And so Chris's logo it's not necessarily, I guess, it's not black per se. I don't know though. I mean, it looks like a black line.
It's black
And so she
adjacent.
was, yeah, it's what's the word? Black presenting.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a mulatto line, a
But she was
quadroon
like, "Do
line.
you think?" And I was like, "I didn't think. I never thought about it, but that would be something that's it's enough though that it stands out." So, we're way far away from John, and I apologize to everybody that tuned in, and also for both of you guys that my brain is jelly right now, and happy to be here, but I apologize in case
Uh,
someone tuned in and said, "Hey, we're going to get all this cool information about John." I mean,
I
there
don't think
was no,
anyone
there was
watches this show to get cool information. That's
hey, come on now.
not since we joined.
yeah,
uh,
not since I fixed my mic.
Speaking of cool information, this Friday, I think I'm actually going to start early. So, like 7 p.m. this Friday, I'm going to be
I'll
giving
tune
a
in.
4 to 5 hour presentation on Jesus being God in the Bible. So, we're going to go
And
through all of it.
it's a bit of a promotion here. Chris is Chris knows what he's talking about, and he's got it down. And besides that, the most important thing for me, and what I would say for any Christian, is Chris will show you the text. So Chris will say, "Here's this because of this." And that's what I love about Chris, and that's actually why I know Chris, because Chris has a video of uh should Christians keep that's not I'm not quoting the title, but it's should Christians keep the law of Moses. And my first video of Chris that I saw was Rebecca is 3, which again, I will say, even to this day, that was over a year ago. To this day, that is the best. And I think it's only 40 minutes, 40 or so minutes long. So it's not even too long. But it is the best uh, refutation of the idiotic argument that Rebecca was 3 years old. And So I saw that and I was like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. And so then I went through his other videos, and I saw, oh, there we go. There's one on keeping the law of Moses, because obviously I'm a slippery Judaizer by a joke, but by lifestyle I'm a Torah observant Christian. And so I was like, if there's anybody that could change my mind on this topic, it would be Chris. After I saw what he did with the Rebecca videos, like he knows what he's talking about, he's doing. And so what it ended up being in that video is Chris was addressing actual Judaizers, legalists. So he did a great job on that. But from my perspective, there was a lot of blending. If that's what Chris was addressing, but if you're someone who does keep the law, there were certain things in there that I was thinking, well, I don't think that holds up, this or that. And so that's how I ended up contacting Chris. And this was so cool of Chris, which is I just wrote him. I don't know if it was through the Islamic Dilemma Discord or if it was through YouTube, but he was like, yeah, we'll talk. And then we had like a 6 hour, we started at must have been like 10 o'clock my time. It was
8
like
p.m.
5 in the morning
Yeah,
on a
night.
weekday. On a weekday, when
we
that
went
talk
until
finished.
4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
So us
And
meeting each other, we ended up
and it
going
was
till like you had to go to work. That's how long we talked from that.
Chris has kind of a lawyer personality trait, which is like, as long as someone's not being rude, you do not care at all if they believe like you. Because, like,
yes,
you're just
correct,
used to
correct.
being in a position where everyone in the room disagrees with you, as a lawyer or whatever.
Hmm.
But he has that
But
same
he does
mentality.
it.
Yeah,
He
he has the
does it
same mentality
so
where he does not
respectfully.
care. Yeah,
Hmm.
that like y'all became
So
good
it's it,
friends by a disagreement. That's like how y'all
exactly,
became friends.
exactly. So I'm excited for this because I think this will be a very useful video coming up because I've already had these talks alongside of Chris and also seen him argue them without me there. This Friday, this will be a very beneficial video for anybody who ever has any wonders or also just wants to add an extra 17 tools to their tool belt for when this topic comes up. Everybody tune in this Friday because this will be a very good thing.
So
Ooh,
here's
and
a
it even
preview.
looks pretty.
That
Yeah,
looks
I'm
awesome.
working on the. So like going through the actual Greeks, the in context of the Greek, but like, hey, like what are we
Ego and
going through
me.
here for all the ego and me? Yeah. So like even I brought this up earlier for the ego and me, but this is literally ego and me, Kyrios. And in the
Uh-huh.
text it's Anihu Yahweh Yahweh. And he replaces it with
Right.
ego and me, Kyrios. So like and then thus saith. So I Yahweh speak righteousness. And replacing the divine name and even with this Ani, so there's a lot of really cool stuff with this, but
Oh boy,
I'll be
this is
going
going to be
through,
really good. This is going to be very good.
yeah, how Jesus actually uses Isaiah, how he uses all of these topics. And yeah, so I have a lot of stuff on this that we'll be going through. Um, it's gonna be long and good, but
It's super important though, because well, first of all, every cult denies
Yes.
high Christology, and so
yep,
I've already
Mm-hmm.
filmed this video. I have a video where I interview the devil, and he's basically like lazy, and so I'm like, well, you're so busy, how do you get everything done? He's like, well, I basically just do the same thing over and over. I was like, well, what's some of the things you do? I deny high Christology. So that's like true, and or like Gnosticism, he's just one of many gods, which is another way of denying high Christology because he's not on top. Uh,
mhm.
the in
And
Islam,
also,
they
Christian,
say they affirm
isn't
him.
it in Gnosticism? Oh, sorry. I think the delay is. I think I
Oh,
got a
that's okay. Go
delay. I
ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt. Oh, I was going to ask is another like major tenet of Gnosticism where there's like this evil God of the Old Testament, and Jesus comes as like the to save us from that wicked evil God.
Yeah, more or less. So all the different there's a whole bunch of different sects of Gnosticism, but that would be kind of I would say like all Gnosticism believes
Monopousia?
this. this world is somehow a lie, and that you need to have knowledge of the pleroma to escape. A whole bunch like the Sethians and Orphites, they believe Jesus was one of the aeons of the pleroma that came and gave us information to set us free from the demiurge, who's the evil god of the Bible.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So-
and that's
which
really
Which is
common.
just exactly the Garden of Eden all over again, kind of. Did
Yeah.
God really say he just doesn't
Well,
want you to know?
they even
So
have
we-
the snake as a good guy. Like in a lot of Sethian texts, the
Of
snake's a good
course.
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So the one you were looking for is this one specifically.
Yeah.
Marshasian.
That's like a half-baked Gnosticism. It's like where it's
Marcionism.
Yeah.
halfway there.
Okay.
This is the one where Yahweh fights Jesus. Like Yahweh is the old creator of the Old Testament, and then Jesus is the new deity, and they go to war. So that's this nonsense.
So interestingly
it's a
enough,
pretty-
Chris, I would argue that the anti-Torah view in present day Christianity is an offspring of that same line of reasoning. Whereas the Sabbath was a punishment, or the law was a bad thing that was put on the Jews for their disobedience, and I think there's a negative view of the law that, like even you, Chris, who you're very pro benefiting from the wisdom of the law. But I would argue that you're the best of the other side of my argument, because there would be no view that we shouldn't do the law if certain heresies hadn't come in from the beginning that kind of made a trajectory for us to get to a separation from it. So that again is some foreshadowing to mine and Chris's cheeky showdown, which keeps getting further and further back, because it turns out we really don't disagree on very much at all. And so it would just be more of it'd be a funny discussion. But I do think, like, I just like with tonight, like I feel very confident. John is talking about the supper that was had in John was on the night of the 14th going into darkness of the 15th of Aviv. It was Jesus had the Passover meal where they ate the sacrificial lamb at dinner. And apologies to everybody for my poor stupid jelly brain showing up, not being able to succinctly go through all of that. But we everyone here is in good hands with Chris when it comes to Chris and Christian when it comes to coming to Jesus and knowing Jesus. And I would say I'm just adding a little bit more of I would be the Gospel of John to Chris's synoptic gospel reading of I'm adding the you don't want to be saved by the skin of your teeth.
No, I'm John. Pick another gospel. That was mine. Until I spent my whole day with my kids. My kids, it's like Did I tell y'all this story where they started fighting over the tooth fairy? My 6-year-old lost her tooth. And she's like, I can't wait to get a present from the tooth fairy. And then my 2-year-old was like, no, my corn fairy. It's like, what? And then the 6-year-old was like, no, my tooth fairy. And then the 2-year-old, no, my corn fairy. It's like, what even is the corn fairy? Why are you arguing with this 2-year-old? Just over nothing. Back to your deal on high Christology, though. They all say, we respect Jesus more than you do. It's like, okay, really? Well, then listen to all these things he says that tell us what he really thinks about himself. Well, he never says, I'm God, worship me. Okay, yeah, but he does say, I am over and over. Yeah, he does walk
And
on
worship
water.
me.
He does show it through his actions. He does play God with his actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he says explicitly, hey, honor me as you honor the Father.
Yeah.
Is that worship?
And what's funny is they try to quote that as a
Yes.
low Christology segment, and they'll quote that out of context.
No.
I called Cora on this. She did it on Twitter. One of them, I don't remember. It's one of the ninjas. I don't remember.
I saw
which
that.
one.
I saw that. That was good.
There's a couple of ninjas, and they just all say the same stuff.
Uh,
Well, you know what's sad though?
yeah.
well, not sad. I guess it's more kind of infuriating. They know it's like this is low hanging fruit arguments. They're just picking off the people that aren't really Christians to begin with, where it would be like maybe like an atheist. You know, they see them like, oh yeah, yeah. Sounds like Christianity's pretty stupid. I mean, even when she brought up the Bible says bugs have 4 legs.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier before the stream started. I was out with my daughter and she saw a moth and because especially growing up, I loved bugs, and so when I even as a kid when I read that, I didn't think the Bible is so stupid that it doesn't even know how many legs bugs have. I just recognized that this must be a classification thing. I mean, like, you know, most, if not everybody in the Bible would think we're stupid for considering a whale to be a mammal
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
it's it's a big fish is what it is.
For them, the category
We
sea
classified it
creature. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And so like there's no way that when the Bible's talking about the things that creep on 4 legs that they actually mean it literally as 4-legged creatures. I mean, how insane would you have to be to look at most of the bug world and say, oh yeah, those are 4-legged things? They didn't actually think that, and there's no way that
They
Cora
saw
actually thinks
bugs,
that.
lady.
Right, they saw bugs more than we see bugs.
Save your
They
ninja
didn't have they
stars
didn't
for
have
something that's
traps.
actually wrong. Yeah.
So these arguments are
Well, and plus their book affirms that book over and over
correct,
again.
which makes it so much worse.
They
Makes
look,
it so
it's
much
like a
worse.
person walking around stepping on rakes that slap them in the face all day. That's what these ninjas are like. Y'all get off of Twitter. Y'all look like idiots.
Yes.
If any of you guys ever see this screen, see that's a way better classification from Wonder Bucket. They thought moths were undead butterflies. That makes sense. Don't you feel like if you cast a healing spell on a moth, it would do damage? I do. I've played enough Final Fantasy to
Well,
have my
it's funny
brain
because there we had a moth in our
rotten.
house, and she told me, "Baba, there's a wasp. You need to get the wasp." And so I ran in thinking, "Oh, well, I need to get the wasp." It was just a big moth, and so to her, she doesn't know the difference between moths and butterflies. But right now, she doesn't need to because she doesn't know what a moth is. So I just told her she likes butterflies. So I said, "Oh, it's just kind of like it's a butterfly." I said, "It can't bite you, it can't pinch you. We're good. We can just leave the moth in the corner of the ceiling. It's fine." And because she doesn't know what a moth is, and for me to make the distinction would just cause her a lot of more questions, and it's a butterfly. And she goes, oh, a butterfly. Well, I think tomorrow it'll be blue. It's like, yeah, okay. That's good enough for right now. It's not a wasp, it's not a danger. So I
Mhm.
can't tell you the difference between a moth and a butterfly because you wouldn't comprehend it, but for all you need to know, it's a butterfly. And
Kids
so
are such a great example of like communication and different levels of communication. Like my kid pointed at
mhm.
a garden spider in a web and was like, "Why is that a spider?" It's like, how do you answer a question? It's like saying, "Why is A
Yeah,
A?" Why does A equal A?
right.
And so I was just like, because it's got 6 legs and it's in a web.
8.
But
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
course, there's
yeah.
all kinds of exceptions to that. Some spiders don't have webs. Sometimes they're not in their web. Some maybe have. I guess they all have 8 legs.
Yeah,
They
that's part
yeah, they
of
Yeah,
all have 8
what
but
makes
legs.
a
that's part
spider.
of it. But yeah,
Right. Arachnid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they all have egg sac or web sacs. So even if they don't like a wolf or
Yeah.
a huntsman, like even if they don't
Yeah, they all
have
have
webs, they
spinnerets,
still
I
have
guess would be.
traps or yeah.
in any event, it's a starting place, and all of
Right,
our
right.
references and definitions are starting places that have been grown on. You know.
Right.
Mhm.
Beef versus wolf.
It does no good for a kid for them to go, why is that a spider? And then I start rattling off the DNA sequencing. You know,
Correct, correct.
just too much
Well, and that's kind of what I
information.
was getting at with the I mean, it's been Moses, it's been like 3,500 years. And in all that time that the Jews and then after them even the Christians have been uh, maintaining the scriptures, at no point someone said, "Uh-oh, well, the Bible says bugs have 4 legs, but we can see that like centipedes have 20 legs." And like it's a very silly argument that
It's
there's no
so
way that they
dumb.
take
It makes
seriously.
me want to catch a June bug, pull off 2 of its legs, take a picture, put it up there. It's just like gaslighter. What are you talking about? Bugs have 4 legs. Every bug I've ever seen. It's just like meter at that level of dumb. It's like you
Just take
wanna
off.
argue with people that stupid? You wanna act like it's that stupid? I will
Yeah,
meet you right
right.
there. Let's go.
Just take off the middle legs of all the bugs.
Yeah.
Have 6, and then you just
Or like 2
well,
off
you know
of
what's
one
funny though is
side. Make it
oh
asymmetrical.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
got like 3
lopsided
legs
even.
over here and 1 leg on the
They
right.
just keep walking in circles.
Yeah. It's kind of sick. When I was a kid, we used to catch June bugs and have them like pets. And we would tie a little string to one of their legs and let them fly around until that leg fell off. And then we would retie it on the next leg. Don't look at me like that, Chris. You
Oh,
said you've
you
done
tied
things
to
you'd
the
go to jail for.
legs?
Yeah.
No,
But
We would.
I've
You guys are
done
in the
things like
South too, though, right?
death
Did
sentence for.
you get those big
I'm just playing, Chris.
Japanese beetles that are like,
Yeah,
you know,
June bugs.
the palm of your hand? You yeah. June bugs are kind of like they're all in the same. They're in the scarab family, but there's those
Yeah,
ones
the
that
big
like,
green beetles are
especially in
called June bugs by
Texas.
Southerners. Yeah.
Oh,
my
okay. For us, it's up here. It's brown.
my
They're the brown ones.
kids, another
Well, I
classification
mean,
with bugs is this a good guy or a bad guy bug? Because there's good guys and
Yeah,
bad guys.
yeah.
She was
Well, like
scared
my
of
wife
June
the other
bugs at
day, she sent
first.
me a picture. She was sitting on the back porch, and she's like, "This flying ant won't leave me alone." And it was a wasp. I said, "Well, that's a wasp. It's not a flying
Yeah,
ant. You should,
that's a
get away
bad
from
guy
that.
bug.
It's a
Yeah.
big, yeah, it's a bad guy bug, right? Flying ants are pretty much harmless. They're just in their reproductive state. But that's not a flying ant. That's a wasp, and you don't want to be around that. So good guy, bad guy is a good. That's a good way to put it. That's a good designation.
Well, she was scared of June bugs. She was like, "Is this a bad guy bug or a good guy bug?" I'm like, "I think it's a good guy, but it's so dumb. It's real dumb. It's not gonna."
He
Because
could,
those
he
things,
could fall victim to some bad theology.
they'll just like, yeah, it's like the good, the bad, and the stupid. That's the classifications of a bug. This June bugs will just like sit and fly against a wall over and over. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
question for the audience: does this bug,
Ooh, love
praying
those.
mantises, do they have 4 legs or 6?
Show that to the ninja.
Mm.
'Cause that's 4
'Cause
legs and 2 arms.
those look like
It
4
is,
legs and
is,
2 arms to
absolutely.
me. I'm just saying,
Yeah, just copy
there's
and
a
paste
And
that
bug.
into
also
the comments. You don't even have to say anything.
the biblical designation for what's kosher among the bug world. There's only one type of bug that's edible, and it's the bugs that have legs for hopping. So it says they have the legs for crawling. They have 2 legs for
Like
so
locusts?
crickets, locusts,
Yeah.
grasshoppers. Those are kosher. You can eat those. Every other kind of bug is not kosher, and that's the designation that
Which,
God gives is they have the hopping legs. So even they're like they
yeah.
have the 2 or they have the 4 legs for walking, and then they have the hopping legs. So again, though, it just can't be as simple as that because what kind of well, everybody knows what I'm going to say, but like, yeah, bugs. There is no way that the biblical authors meant
They're that
literally
stupid.
that bugs have 4
Yeah.
legs. It means what
Right.
I envisioned is like how we look at every other animal pretty much that walks on the earth. I mean, are there actually are there animals that are predominantly upright walkers besides humans? I can't think of any. I mean, even things like meerkats and kangaroos, they still end up
Yeah, I was gonna say
using their
kangaroo.
forearms as I
Bigfoot.
feel like
Yeah,
kangaroos
they're
still.
hoppers though.
Well,
Bigfoot
Bigfoot,
walked
my
around.
yeah, in my lineage.
Well, kangaroos use their tails primarily, so they don't really use their front paws nearly as much as they would use their tails.
Mm,
Like if they're eating, they'll like lunge forward for it, but most of the time it's on their feet and tail.
mm.
There has, I feel like there's at least one.
That's what I was
I
thinking
mean,
about when I was
monkeys
thinking
do if
about
they're
this earlier.
carrying something, like spider monkeys, but they still would use their
They
tail
still
quite a bit.
walk, and they also
Yeah, they
still
walk a
walk
lot.
on their forearms.
Birds.
Still,
Those birds. They only
yeah,
have
they only
2
have
feet.
two.
They
Yeah.
only have the option of 2.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I guess what we've come to the conclusion is that Cora showed all of us here that Christianity is false because bugs don't have 4 legs. So there goes everything else in the Bible.
Yep.
True.
My iman
But
has been
the
strengthened.
stars, but stars are definitely missiles to shoot down Jinn.
Yeah.
And they're definitely in
The
front
sun sets in a
of
muddy
the planets.
No,
The sun
all
definitely sets in a muddy
Muslims,
pool.
all
Semen definitely
Muslims are
comes from the
like,
backbone.
it's like a nerd kid at school who's just like overweight with a Star Trek shirt trying to bully people. That's what it is. She's trying to play like she's a new atheist from 2008, and she's got a book that's
That's what it is.
1,000 times stupider than anything in the Bible. It's like, your
Yeah.
book is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like, how could anyone feel threatened by you? Dip them in honey mustard or something. Hey, have y'all ever eaten grasshoppers?
My daughter has. I was too chicken, and this is what's so weird about me because I used to eat shrimp,
Chocolate covered.
which is just a sea. It's a sea grasshopper, basically.
Disgusting.
I love shrimp.
My favorite
I
foods
don't care what y'all say
before I
about
started
shrimp. I'm
keeping
gonna eat them
kosher.
up.
I would eat shrimp, crab, ham.
Yep,
Those are my
yep.
favorite foods, and bacon.
Yep.
And
You winced.
So
You winced when you said bacon. No wonder you have anxiety. No wonder you have bad dreams. Cut out of everything that gave you joy. I've eaten a bunch of grasshoppers, but you have to pull their legs off because they'll get stuck in your throat. The jumping legs.
Yeah.
So I only eat 4-legged bugs.
Okay,
I almost
so
want to tell the
Christian,
story, but I
I've
don't want to
heard.
scar people.
Are we getting back to a typical, what we would say, one of the stereotypical in these streams? Are we going to poop or body hair?
Okay,
Or
if you have a
both?
weak stomach,
this
go
is-
ahead and hit mute. Weak stomach, then
Okay.
hit mute. Chris, tell your story, and then I'm gonna get off because I need to go to sleep. I'm an old
So
man.
there was a woman admitted to the ER. And
Is this a parable or is this real?
This is real. She
Okay.
ate at Subway, and she kept having, for like weeks, she kept having something like she felt like she was choking, and it was like itchy sensation and all that. And she couldn't figure it out, so she eventually went to the hospital. And whenever she was examined, it was found that she had a cockroach leg stuck all around and impaled into her uvula.
Whoa.
Because if you've ever seen the cockroach legs on the back hind legs, they have these spikes.
They have like barbs.
So apparently
yeah.
they have barbs, yeah. So that barb got stuck on her throat from eating the lunch meat from Subway. And that's
Whoa.
So not
yeah,
worth it.
it's kind of like
Maybe
it
for
reminds
Taco
me
Bell.
of the
Maybe
Taco
for
Bell,
Taco
yes.
Bell.
Pop-Tart. Have you guys seen the spider Pop-Tart?
I had Taco Bell with my friends
Oh, yeah.
recently, a couple days ago, and I didn't get sick. And I was like, "Wow, maybe if I just eat a small amount, I'm okay." And then about 3 hours later, it's like, "Oh!" I was like, "Oh, there it is." I've gotten nowhere. I'm gonna see this spider Pop-Tart, and then I gotta go. I'm so tired.
Yeah, and I'll try to go too, even though I won't. But I would like to think that I would.
I searched spider in Pop-Tart found, and it's all just like
Cutesy
Spider-Man Pop-Tart.
Spider web icing.
Yeah,
Yeah, put real spider in Pop-Tart or something.
yeah. So this one scarred me for a very long time. That's all I could think about. Um,
I
but it
saw
was
on
the
I think it was
entirety
Put
of
60
a
in
Minutes when I was a kid.
put in Spider Pop Tart lawsuit. If there was a lawsuit, it'll have the correct picture.
lawsuit. That's a great tip for the future.
There was some story they
Um,
did that on average there's 20 rodent hairs in every jar of peanut butter. And I remember hearing that and thinking, well, I'll never eat peanut butter again.
There's
But then,
probably
yeah,
so I told
eventually you
that,
do.
yeah, and I forgot about that until just I think yesterday when I told that to I should not because my daughter is like, I could have probably had my daughter on my own based off of how she came out. She has like none of her mom in her. She's just all me. And so I said that as a joke, and she was like, "Wait, what?" And then it's like I should not have brought that up because it's actually not that. It's not that gross. I mean, I'd rather eat a rat hair than a cockroach leg, and so the that's the title of this stream, Chris. What would you rather eat, rat hair or a cockroach leg? And then
I'm
people
back.
can
I'm
tune in and
out.
see where.
Now figure it.
He leaves so abruptly.
I straight up can't find it. The internet has buried this with stupid AI photos
Wow.
and then the Spider-Man. I wonder if they did this limited edition Pop Tart to
In
just bury
response,
the results,
yeah.
yeah, of the spider. As I just straight up can't find it anymore. But that image was all over the internet like 17 years
Oh
ago,
wow.
and
So what
I
was it?
just
Was
can't
it a
find it.
spider embedded in the Pop Tart insides,
Yeah,
or? Oof.
yeah. So within the
That
filling,
reminds me
so they
of
took a
the
bite of
rooster
it
head and the
and it
chicken nuggets.
crunched,
You
and then
see
they
that?
pulled it apart. Um,
Oh.
so they took a bite of the spider itself. It had a weird crunch in it. They looked at it, noticed it was something black inside of a strawberry pop tart, and then opened it up. And
Oh.
it was a picture of the like split in half pop tart with part of the spider missing, and
Oh
it being
no.
disheveled and squished. And that image has lived rent free in my
Oh,
head for years, and I straight up can't find it right now. And Google's apparently
wow.
lost the ability to find it. So,
It's been
but on Pop
suppressed.
Tart, I guess it's been suppressed. Yeah, I don't
Big Spider doesn't want you to know.
know. Big spider. I'm glad I'm not hungry.
Big spiders at work
Yeah,
behind the
it's a
scenes,
great
and they
way.
must be working with the you know who, the small hat people, because the small hat people want you to eat those spiders.
And the shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh. Anyway, so
yeah.
yeah, this Friday I'm gonna be doing Jesus is God, and I may or may not have guests. If I do have guests, I have no idea how long that stream's gonna be. If I don't have guests, that stream will probably be about 3-4 hours. But
Well,
it's gonna be fun.
I'll be off and ready for Shabbat, Chris. So, if you do have guests, I mean, I usually on Friday nights. I mean, I've missed Bible studies before because I was so worn out from the week. But I don't even mind to hop in and just say one silly thing and jump right back off. Or I would also, though, at that time of the week, I'm happy to just tune in. And like I said, like I was telling everybody earlier, Chris is going to have this. It's going to be definitive, and it's going to be something that will be very useful and important to have as a resource. So
Which
everybody
I'm also
tune
making
into
available for
that
everyone.
because it will be exhaustive, like Strong's exhaustive concordance. There's no further than this. I have full confidence in Chris that this is going to be a solid, laid out case that for anybody who has any questions regarding the divinity of Jesus or whether or not the Messiah was going to be a divine figure, I think this will be the stream to end the discussion on it. And so every Christian would be good, whether you know it or not. Tune in and sharpen your blades as iron sharpens iron. Tune in and get yourself equipped to have a ready defense for anybody that would ask you on the subject. Because Chris is the guy to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And
And
we'll
then the
see
next week from that,
how
Chris,
much
I
we can
think
go.
you'll probably be at my house.
I will, yes. Um, it is early on Friday, so I might be leaving Thursday and seeing you on Thursday.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a chance I crash either at your house or in my car in your house.
Oh no, you can have
Thursday
whatever I
night.
mean, we've got 4 beds in my house and a living room and everything.
Cool.
You'll have a
I
bed and
will.
you'll have dinner as well.
I will have. Okay, we'll
Or
see when I actually get there.
a
But
midnight snack or breakfast or whatever time you end up showing up. You will be fed and slept.
okay, breakfast is probably gonna be the most likely or a midnight snack. But I'll be coming
Okay.
in probably like 10 or 11. So we'll see. Oh,
Okay, so that's like second dinner for me. So you can have
yeah.
second dinner and maybe a midnight snack and then a breakfast to send you off. And then you'll leave with a box full of Alzut coffee.
Yes, I'm very excited to hand out Alzit coffee and people
Which by
look at
the
me like
way
I'm
will
crazy.
be, now I know the novelty of the label is fun, but I guarantee that the coffee that I'm going to include in there is going to be top grade. I mean, it will be coffee that if you don't like it, then you don't like coffee. And if you don't like coffee, you'll probably also like this coffee. So that'll be a test for you, Chris, because you don't like coffee.
Well, it's too bitter
So
for me. My sense of taste is too
yes.
tuned to bitterness
So
to
this
enjoy
particular
coffee.
coffee that I've got in mind will be it's an Ethiopian coffee. And it'll be it mostly has like a berry flavor. Yes, the lady has spoken, and that's do not insult the lady of the house, Chris. I will hold you accountable, and you'll have to do penance.
Oh, I never would. Yeah, I'm secretly scared of her.
I was thinking about this week. I was like, oh my gosh, Chris is going to be here soon. And this is where I'm streaming. And it's funny because it looks good from your perspective. But if you were to see around, like you got a bit of a taste on
Oh, you have.
last Monday or Tuesday. It's like this when I show you, Chris, I'll give you a peek into here and you'll be like, what? Are you okay? What are you
Okay,
doing?
so we have
Oh,
all that on the ground still. Now, granted,
well,
the rest of the ground
there's
is
a
not
lot
that
less
bad,
beer
but
cans than I was imagining. I thought there would be
I
like 40
yeah.
like bush lights
No,
in
those
there.
are all like
I'm just-
health pills, and there's my how to draw manga and other random tidbits in there. But I mean, the rest of my room is pretty much clean, but I still just
Mm.
don't have. Yeah, no, I don't have like the takeout everywhere and rats crawling along my baseboards like a lot of the big streamers. But no, my room is not currently tidy, so you're not gonna scare me with being untidy.
I've got
But
like 16 guitars at the ready in this current layout that I'm in. That I mean, there's an amp over here, but it's this is my habitat. It's mutable. I can make it do whatever it needs to do it when it needs to do it. So, but you will laugh because I mean, like, well, you'll see, Chris. I'll actually
okay.
I'll leave it up to you. I'll leave some things in suspense, but I think you'll get a kick out of this zany setup of mine.
I'll have you make me some of the Zook coffee, uh, so it's
Mhm.
like properly made. Because if I make it, it's gonna suck. So yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, I can actually, yeah, we've got a really good coffee maker. I'll make you Zut espresso and Zut brewed
yeah.
coffee. But you know what though, when we term it like that, that doesn't sound very good at
Just
all.
make me.
I will make you good coffee. The Zut we'll leave for the label, but the actual coffee itself, not Zut coffee.
uh, hey Eduardo, we're about to hop off, but if you ever want to do a stream together, let me know. I'd be down to,
Oh,
especially if you
radar
want to cover
apologetics. I've
the
heard about. I've heard that name
the
so many
Jewish.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a great dude. Love him. If you ever want to go over the Talmudic dilemma or I know you don't really focus on the Islam stuff, but if you ever wanted to do anything on that, I'd be more than happy to. Oh, I guess you do. You've done streams with Avery on it. So if you want to go through so I would love your opinion. I want as many Jews involved in the project as well. But with your background as the messianic stuff, I would love your opinion on the Talmud side of the Quran. So if you
Chris
ever
is
want
is
to go through that,
is
I'd be
Radar
down to.
Apologetics, is he one like me? Is he a Torah observant Christian?
He's uh he's a rabbi in New York for a messianic congregation.
Oh, okay. So maybe where
Yeah.
they do it, not they don't they don't necessarily argue that you should do it, but they do it because they say it's good to do it. Would that be an accurate?
You you guys are a lot closer together than me and you are.
Okay,
Yeah, he
okay.
observes the festivals, the Sabbath, and all that. Yeah, so you
Oh,
guys would
cool.
get
Okay.
along pretty well with the Sabbath keeping and all the festival talk and all that. But
Mm.
yeah,
Because I've
are
heard
you
that name
are you planning
mentioned
on
a
zooting
lot of
Chris while
times.
he visits? What are you on
Oh,
about?
wait, a question from my own wife? Again. I tried to have a certain level of decorum, and then you do. No, so
Uh,
it's a definitive no. I will not. Now, I may infuse Chris with the
the
scriptural,
energy of 30 men.
yes, the energy of 30 men, not in the zit sense though, and I think that's a very yes. Oh boy. La la. Oh boy.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I'm gonna
it's a good time
I'm gonna
to
go ahead
end
and
the
call
stream. Yeah, I have
it.
to attend to another live stream, and it's been if I'm seeing 3 hours and 20 minutes, and I think actually I don't feel as bad as last night. I think I will be able to sleep tonight, so that's good.
Yeah,
So what time is it for
that's
me? 12:53. Not too bad. Not too bad.
1 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad
Uh,
for my old crusty self.
all right.
Chris, maybe I'll send you my 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 Apple Watch readings, and you can tell me, Steven, you're gonna die in 2 years, so maybe you should try to seek out some life insurance. You have an extended
There was.
QT such and such, or whatever they said on mine. Uh,
Oh, that's not okay. Do you wait?
oh,
Do
is
you
that
have an
bad?
extended QT duration? I mean, it's not
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'm not
okay.
surprised.
Yeah.
They
No,
said they
I would.
couldn't figure out why, but they said it's there, and they don't. It doesn't look good. I went through an episode of AFib 2 years ago. Uh,
A fib or
which
a flight?
also AFib. I went into AFib. They were gonna shock me, but then they put something in my IV that what's that
Oh, is
called?
it acute, not chronic?
It was paroxysmal. If that's how you say the word, per.
Okay.
I went into AFib,
So
and then
stress induced.
I don't think it was stress induced. It was, I think, paradoxismal. There we go. That's probably what it is. They have no reason. They
Hmm,
don't know why I went into AFib.
right.
But I had been saying, like, if I like I used to be very athletic, and I would do some like very physically strenuous things. But at a certain point, my
Hmm,
heart would start to go into like a not it was not beating correctly. And I always tell people,
right.
hey, I would make the joke, I'd use old timey language. I said, I got a bum ticker. And then finally, 2 years ago, it went into like I was just sitting at work at a desk, and then my heart rate went up to 208 BPM. and it felt really bad. And usually I'm used to that happening once in a while. I would go like, "Brrr," and then I go, I'd lose my breath, and then it would stop. But this time it did it, and then it kept going, and then it was like for like 3 hours. I think it was at 208 BPM, and then I went to the emergency room thinking I was dying, and then they put an IV in me, and they put something in there. Uh, Cardiovert, is that what it's
208?
called? Yeah, it felt really bad. That's why I thought I was dying. And then I even made the joke to the person at the emergency room. They were going like, "Sorry, we have to ask you these questions. Do you do such and such?" And I said, "I don't know anything. I just know." And I was like gasping because I was short of breath. And I said, "This is the last time I'll ever do cocaine," which was a joke. And then the nurse goes, "Oh, well, we didn't ask you that yet. Do we need to write that down?" I said, "No, no, I'm just kidding." But then I said, "Do I need to record?" Like I said, "Am I going to die? Do I need to record a video, like a goodbye video to my kids?" And they said, "No, don't worry. You're not going to die. That's too much paperwork. We'll take care of you." So I
I
got
love
met
that
with a
joke.
good staff.
Dude, okay. The electrical limit for what your heart can handle is typically in like the high 200s. So like what's physiologically possible for you would only be
Mhm.
like 20 or 30 more beats per minute. So you were like redlining what is physically possible for a human. That's not good.
I am
This,
invincible.
this is generally speaking not great. Can say I've never
Yeah,
actually seen
I'll have to work
tachycardia
on
that
this.
bad in any of my ECGs. Um,
Oh,
I know we
okay.
have
Oh
patients.
boy. Okay.
I know we've had patients that have had uh heart rate that high. I've never seen a recording of it in the 2 million rows of data
I
that
got
we
a
have.
recording of it. Okay.
Oh, I'd be curious to see it. Like, well, baby heartbeats I have. Theirs is extremely weird. Baby heartbeats are strange, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
know if I want to go
super
down this
fast,
tangent.
aren't they?
They're extremely fast, and then their shape is different. So the structure of their heart is
Hmm.
so different that it's kind of hard to tell it's even an ECG. It kind of looks like a different waveform entirely. Um, I don't want to go down remodeling. It There's a lot to it. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream now
Yeah.
before we go down another heart
Yeah, so I can
related
go
tangent.
to get some sleep and
So
let my heart
you can go to sleep,
hopefully
yeah, and I can go
recuperate.
pee and go to sleep myself, yeah, and finish the
Well,
presentation
God
for
bless you,
Friday.
Chris.
So
God bless everybody here that always joins, and anybody who maybe joined for the first time. We love you, and I'm very especially grateful for Chris that I'm able to be here with everybody. So,
actually, I don't
glory
poop,
to
and that's
God,
the
of course.
problem at the moment. But I don't know if what's coming out of me can be
Glory to God
classified as poop.
for bringing all of
But
us together, because
yes,
that's why we're
amen.
here, for Him, and He's wonderful beyond description. And whether I croak next week or whatever from my goofy whatever could be or not be, God is enthroned, Jesus is enthroned, the victory is sealed, we're good, and I'll see you in the New Jerusalem where everything will be good. And hopefully, though, God willing, I can avoid that and spend the rest of the time in here. Should the Lord tarry, we can get into good old age. But also, come quickly, Lord Jesus. I think all of us are
Maranatha.
ready for him to come back and usher in
Yeah,
eternity for all of us.
amen. We were joking about that on the Discord today, which you still haven't joined.
Okay, I've got my thing here. So I've got my notes that also at the top I wrote sleep apnea. Should have put a question mark. I realized that. But I'm also going to put DAL, defending a line Discord, because I always this whole time I thought I was part of it, I didn't realize I was part of a different Discord. So I'm missing out, I think. I'm missing out on all the other people that are in there. But
okay.
also shout out
Good
to
night.
Tommy.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. You know,
yes. Shout out to Tommy.
I've
indeed.
met so many cool people. Maybe I shouldn't say their names, but all the people in the whatever Discord I'm in, all the people in that one, man, what a great group! All those people, I love those people. They're like family to me, and and I wouldn't know them if it wasn't for Chris. So I'm very grateful to be in there, and my wife and other people in my family. I mean, this is even my mom. My mom talks about how much she loves Tommy, and she's not part of the Discord, which is good for everybody else in there because you just regularly get messages saying, "Are you wearing your seatbelt?" My mom's a worrier, but yeah. So she's. I'm just very grateful to know everybody that I know through Chris because I wouldn't know them if it wasn't for Chris, and that includes everybody in the chat, by the way. So God bless all of you. That's my long parting thing, and forgive the jelly brain and all that comes with that. But I do have to pee, and I
He
think
thinks you
Chris
look
has
like.
to pee too.
I do have to pee. Yes, he thinks you look like
Oh,
Bob
Bob
Ross.
Ross?
Thought that was
No.
funny.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got to see my brother. I got to get my brother on this. Uh, That's why I missed the stream last week because I was hanging out with him. My brother is like he's like Mediterranean Bob Ross. Okay, I'll try to get him. I'll try to get him next week. He won't have to do anything other than just poke his head in. Even if I have to go to his house, you got to see him because we. Well, no, I'm talking too long. Love you guys. God bless you. Lila Tov.
I said goodbye the first time 24 minutes ago.
Ah,
Okay, for real now. Goodbye.
yes.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit with you always. Laila Tov.